All right, all right, all right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? We're about to share the screen. Get started with the masterclass here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, boom. Gonna go live here. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Yes. Okay. What's up, YouTube? How we doing? How we doing? We finna go live in a second here. What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Climb on in, climb on in. We are about to get started here. We are about to get started. Super excited to be sharing this with you guys here today. Let's see here. Test. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Live. Let's see here. Climb on in, y'all. Everybody drop in the chat where you are tuning in from. Would love to know where you guys are tuning in from. Climb on in, climb on in. Now, let's see who's going live. It says to start with a test, but I don't think we need to start with a test, y'all. I think we can just climb on in and get started. So we're going to be going live in a few different places here. Oh, okay, I see now. So 15 more. All right, all right, all right, all right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? We are live and direct on Facebook, YouTube. Let's see, where else we at? Where else are we at right now? right. Climb on in, everybody. Everybody, yeah, move your body. All right. Boom. All right, y'all. We about to go live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get right into it. Mm. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Drop in the chat where you are tuning in from. Drop in the chat where you are tuning in from. That's like a little rhyme right there. I like that. Drop in the chat where you are tuning in from. I wonder if I could move my camera. Huh? Doesn't matter. Who cares? All right, ladies and gentlemen, about to get live here. Right, boom. All right, all right, all right. What is going on? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. All right, all right, all right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's up, family? What's up? What's up? What's up? It is Denver, the Mindset Diplomat, coming to you live and direct. We are currently here. It is the last month of the year. I'm so excited to be with y'all. Everybody in the chat, let me know where you're tapping in from, what city, what state you're tapping in from. If you don't know who I am, drop a 2 in the chat. And then drop a 1 in the chat. If you do know who I am, you've seen one of my ads, we've met in person, let me know. Let me get a temp check of what is going on with you guys. Let me get a temp check. 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 Let me get a temp check, everybody. Where are you tuning in from exactly? Let me know. Let me know. Let me get a 1 in the chat if you do know. Let me get a 2 in the chat. Let me get a 2 in the chat if you don't know. Let me get a 1 in the chat if you do know. I want to see who I'm talking to here. I want to get a quick audience temperature check. Okay, some of you do know. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Hold on, hold on. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. I see y'all tapping in. Okay, I got a bunch of 2s in the chat. All right. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Because I like when I'm in a room where no one knows who I am. That's one of my favorite things. Because then I get to really pour into y'all. You know what I'm saying? Bet. Just making a post. Okay. Okay. Y'all know where y'all tapped in. Y'all tapped in. That's what I like to hear. Okay. So, I want to keep in mind, my name is Denver Marisme, the time rich entrepreneur. My agenda today is in our small time amount of time. My agenda today in our small amount of time together is to give you the low effort strategies you will need to provide high impact in your life and in your business. My chief aim is to create confidence where there was once uncertainty and to eliminate confusion where there was to eliminate confusion and replace it with clarity. Okay. I'm going to show you exactly what I do, when I do it, and how I do it personally in my life and in my business. And I want you at the bare minimum to be able to be able to learn the very tactics so you can reclaim your time and ultimately make more money. It's definitely a two-way street though, right? Y'all know me. At the end of the day, I need to make sure that I'm getting the same energy that I'm giving you guys, right? And I need you to promise me to do your best to take the information that you guys learn here today and leverage it, right? I want to see you guys go and win, because the worst thing is when I give people energy, I teach them, and they don't take the information, they take it for granted, right? So my goal here today is to really allow you guys to level up in your life and in your business, okay? So with that being said, let's get started without further ado. All right. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys the 3 no BS secrets to becoming time rich, quitting your 9 to 5, and building a 7-figure business that lasts. Especially if you could click a mouse, you can fire your boss, guys. Okay. I want you guys to remember that. And I'm also going to be taking notes here. All right. So let's see here. And this is going to be from 12/4. Page, and then that's okay. All right. We've got 1. Okay. Climb on in, y'all. Climb on in. I see y'all tapping in. I see y'all tapping in. Super excited to have you guys. Super excited to have you guys. So I'm going to be teaching you guys the 3 no BS secrets to becoming time rich. Okay. Quitting your 9 to 5 and building a 7-figure business that lasts. And this is going to be the same strategies that I teach my students. Okay. And that you guys are going to be learning it for exact, like 100% for free. So, tons of my students have had success. And I want you guys to know that the same strategies I'm teaching you here today are going to be for absolutely for free. Okay. Would you like to know the exact blueprint showing exactly what the top 1% of entrepreneurs are doing differently than the other 99% are not, for absolutely for free? Okay. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're new to entrepreneurship, and drop a 2 in the chat if you are not new to entrepreneurship. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're new to entrepreneurship. Drop a 2 in the chat if you've been an entrepreneur for more than 2 years. I want to see who I'm talking to here. Okay. I want to see who I'm talking to here. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Pouring in. So drop a 1 in the chat if you're new to entrepreneurship. Drop a 2 in the chat if you've been an entrepreneur for more than 2 years. Drop a 3 in the chat if you are not an entrepreneur. Drop a 3 in the chat if you are not an entrepreneur, guys. I want to know who I'm talking to. I want to get a quick temp check here. All right. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Bet. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we got a few entrepreneurs. I want everybody to keep in mind, like I said, we are live on TikTok. We are live on Instagram. We are live on YouTube and all of the places, y'all. So drop in the chat where y'all are from. Super excited to have you guys join here today, okay? All right. So first and foremost, let's get right into it. So now these are secrets from the top 1%. So if you think about it, right, the cutoff for the top 1% of income earners in the US for a single man or woman is 357,000. Okay. For a couple is 504,420. Think about that, right? Like, think about this. Now, anytime that I show you numbers, it's not to boast, brag, or showboat. It's to show you exactly what's possible if you execute on this information, and just to give you a reason to listen to anything that I'm saying here today. Okay. And that's really what it's about. And I want you guys to really be able to tap in and listen. Okay. So now, when you think about it, right, I want to make sure that you guys are understanding that when I show you this, it's for you guys to be able to take notes and learn today. It's for you guys to be able to take notes, tap in, and learn today. Okay. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are with me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are with me. Okay. Yep. Okay. Love it. Love to see it. So I've been able to be booked at, places like Macy's, and even travel the world to UNESCO protected sites, all from the information I'm going to be sharing with you guys here today, because these are the secrets from the top 1% of entrepreneurs. Right. And so now, I've been able to share this information with some of the world's leading educators and trendsetters, and it has been such an honor and beautiful ability to do so. And I'm so honored to be able to do that. Now, let's get started, okay? Now, I need you guys to drop in the chat, yes, if you are ready to get started. Let me see a yes in the chat if you are ready to get started. Let me see a yes in the chat if y'all are ready to get started. I need to know. I need to get a temp check. Drop a yes in the chat if you are ready to get started. Yep. Okay. Perfect. That's what I want to see. So before we start, okay, I invite you to take a breath. Let's inhale some positive energy and set an intention for this masterclass, and exhale the BS from the day, okay? Because honestly, it's been a crazy year. It's been a long year. I know a lot of you, like myself, have just gone through a lot this year, right? It has been such a crazy year for everybody and their grandmother. And I know exactly what it's like. I know exactly what the year has been like. It has been crazy for me as well, okay? So I invite you guys to take a breath with me. Let's exhale completely. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Perfect. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so before we start, okay, I need you to grab a pen and paper or something to write with, because I always say note takers are money makers, okay? Note takers are money makers. That's going to be number 1. Number 2 is pause everything else, okay? We don't want anything distracting you from this life-changing information on Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, anything like that, all right? Number 3 is put your phone on do not disturb, right? We don't want, your boss, Uncle Ray, your high school teacher, calling you and distracting you from this life-changing information, okay? Number 4 is save your questions for the end, because I know for a fact you're going to have a ton of questions, because there's a ton of information to go over, because we have a lot to share. We have a lot to talk about, but I don't want you to distract myself or anybody in the class. So I invite you to hold your questions until the end, because I will be doing a free live Q&A session at the end. And for everybody that stays until the end, I'm going to be giving everyone a gift that is valued at $500 or more, okay? So I don't care how many hundreds of you guys are in here, everyone's going to be getting a gift valued at more than $500. I repeat, everyone in here is going to be getting a gift at more than $500, okay? So share this out to your friends, share this out to your people, tap in with us. I want you guys to really be able to, share this information. It's life-changing information here, because it's definitely what changed my life, okay? So let's get it, guys. In the words of Little John himself, let's go, ladies and gentlemen, pimps and players. Let's get it. Okay. Now, we're going to be going over the 3 no BS secrets to becoming time rich, quitting your 9 to 5, and building a 7-figure business that lasts. And full transparency, I have 2 agendas for today, okay? My main and number 1 agenda is to give you the 3 no BS secrets to becoming time rich, quitting your 9 to 5, and building a 7-figure business that lasts. And my second agenda is to sell you something life-changing. But I demand that you don't buy anything from me if I don't deliver on this big, bold, and kind of audacious process to becoming time rich, quitting your 9 to 5, and building a 7-figure business that lasts. But if I do somehow, some way, by stroke of luck, in the grace of God himself, deliver on that process, that promise, you should feel obligated to investing in yourself and your future if it's a good fit for you and you enjoy my teaching style. Drop a yes in the chat if we have a deal. Drop a yes in the chat if we have a deal. Let me know. Let me know. Let me see a couple of yeses in the chat. Okay. Okay. Perfect. 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 I see y'all. I see y'all. Damn, y'all are tapping in from everywhere. I see y'all. I see y'all. We are tapped in live, ladies and gentlemen. We are tapped in live. Okay. So the opportunity I'm going to be sharing with you at the end of this masterclass is going to be valued somewhere around $5,000. But just keep in mind, no matter what, when you stay until the end, you get a free gift valued at more than $500. And you're going to be getting the complete game on the 3 no BS secrets to becoming time rich, quitting your 9 to 5, and building a 7-figure business that lasts. Okay. Now, don't just take it from me, take it from Janine, right? She was one of my clients. And, you know, if you don't get your mindset to the next level and make money, right? Like, you're not going to be able to live the time freedom and the time rich life that you want. So if you want to get your mindset to the next level, make money, type I receive it in the chat. Okay. This was Janine. And just over 3 months, we were able to help her scale her business pretty incredibly, guys. It was pretty crazy, right? I'm not going to lie to you. Like, when we sat down with her and her team, we were able to really, really change her and her team's life. Okay. And if you're receiving that, you're going to be one of those people that come to this masterclass with, and excuse me, you're going to be one of the people that come to this masterclass, right? And wakes up with the ability to have more time in their life and money in their bank account than they did before they came to this masterclass. And that's 150% possible when you listen to this information and you take advantage of the opportunity I'm going to be presenting to you guys at the end. All right. So who am I? My name is David Denver Marisme. I'm the founder of Mind Management Academy. I'm a mindset coach. I'm a multi-hyphenate entrepreneur, a speaker, and an author. Okay. This is where I started, right? So on the left is going to be my mother and I when I was about 2 or 3 years old. Okay. Super young. And, you know, in the middle, that's going to be me at my 5th birthday. And then last year at InvestFest, me honoring the late, great Nipsey Hussle. Okay. At the, you know, all money in truck at InvestFest. All right. Now, the strategies and frameworks I'm going to be teaching you today is not from what I think or theory. I've been able to start, grow, and scale multiple 6-figure businesses, such as my first one, my entertainment company called Glockwork Records, which is a household name in independent music. This was me at one of my first sold out shows ever with Ill Gates in the middle. Right. And I've been fortunate to be able to create and build a management company that operates logistics for big business, small business, Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies, and a 6-figure multifamily real estate consulting firm called Inner Workings Property Solutions. Okay. And so, you know, these are some of my big life experiences. This is where it started for me. You know, at the top left, you know, I started, you know, playing shows. And then this is, you know, my journey started back in 2016. And since then, I've been able to host and perform from small crowds, performing to over 15,000 people at one of my biggest shows ever here, as you can see on the top right. And that was crazy, right? Now I'm speaking at youth centers and, you know, meeting with some of the most impactful people in our generation. And this is one of those, you know, like how it started versus how it's going kind of photo journeys, right? Put a fire in the chat if you can resonate with a journey that's important. And, you know, being mindful that the journey is what's most important, not the destination. Let me see a fire emoji in the chat, guys. Let me see a fire emoji in the chat. I want to see those fire emojis start pouring through. Okay. Okay. Love to see it. Love to see it, y'all. I love to see it. Perfect. 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 Okay. So now let's get into it, right? So I've been able to coach over 1,000 students and teams. Okay. I've been able to take what I've learned from my experiences and start teaching, you know, my curriculum, start teaching, you know, the things that impacted my life to allow me to get to where I'm at now. It's absolutely like breathtaking when I think about it, right? And I'd like to thank you, Time Rich Entrepreneurship, okay? Because the accomplishments and accolades are cool, but honestly, can I share with you guys my why? I want to be able to share with you guys my why. Type a yes in the chat if I could share with you guys my why. Type a yes in the chat if I could share with you guys why I do what I do. Okay? Drop a yes in the chat. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Drop a yes in the chat if I could share my why. Okay? Because my why is my mother, right? I'm doing this for something that's bigger than myself, right? And, because the information I'm about to share with you not only allowed me to purchase my new, my mama a new home, which is the home we're in right now, but it also allowed me to pay off my grandparents' debt. Literally, this information allowed me to pay off my grandparents' debt. It completely changed my life, and that's why I'm sharing this information with you guys here today, because it really changed my life. Okay. Now, this is my mama and my sister in their new home in Florida. And I invite you to write down today's date in the chat, and then write down the name of the person or people you're doing this for, even if it's for yourself, right? Because this is going to be your public declaration that you're going to be doing anything that it takes to take advantage of any opportunity that presents itself to get that person or people or even yourself in a better situation than they are right now. That is the number one goal. You know what I mean? That is the number one goal. And that's what I want to share with you guys today, right? And so I love that. I love that. I love to see that, guys. Now, pretend like you just wired me $7,000, right? Pretend that you just wired me $7K, because the reason I say that is that not everybody was as lucky as you to get this information for absolutely for free. Clients have been paying me recurring investments and payments of $1,000, $3,500 to start their journey. It's even $7,000 to coach them and their business and their partners. Because you know why? When people pay, they pay attention, guys. When people pay, they pay attention. And I invite you to set an intention with yourself before this conversation. If you don't have one, I invite you to set an intention to give more attention to yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve it, guys. You deserve it. And that's what it's about, because when you give attention to intention, you are able to level up. So I invite you to set an intention and put it in the chat. Okay. I invite you to put it in the chat. I'm just taking some notes here. Right. So now this is called the time is money paradox, right? Let's go through a hypothetical. If I gave you all the time in the world, but in return, you could never make any more money, would you take it? Let me know. Would you take it? Would you take it? Right? I want to know in the chat. Let me know. Okay. Some of you say yes. Some of you say yes. Now, but what if I said, I'll give you $1 million, but you would not wake up tomorrow? Would you take it? Let me know. Okay. A lot of you guys are saying no. Okay. The point is, time is finite. It's a non-renewable resource, unlike money. You can always earn more money, but you can't make more time. And the fact is, the scarcity that makes time fundamentally more important than money and more precious than it is that you can't make more of it, right? Once it's gone, guys. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you guys about here today. So let's go through it together, right? So most of you are in a place that I call the gap, right? You know where you are, you know where you want to be, but you don't know how to get there, okay? And the how, this is from my own personal experience. Give me a yes in the chat if you are here, right? And you want to know how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Because I'm here to tell you that there's a surefire place to do so, right? Let me get a yes in the chat if that's you. Let me get a yes in the chat if that's you. Let me get a yes in the chat if that's you. Okay. Okay. Love it. Love it. Love it, y'all. Love it. Perfect. 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 Let me get that yes in the chat. Okay. Now, the thing about this is, you're looking to, get from where you are to where you want to be. The only way to do that, guys, is to become time rich and become free. If you don't have time freedom, you'll never be free. And that's the God's honest truth. You need to be able to leverage your time to be able to grow and do the things that are most important to you. Okay. Now, this was my big aha moment, right? I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that work 9 to 5s. And to be time rich, right? What I've learned is that a lot of them, right, they're looking to reclaim their time to build a business. And they want to do that because they've learned that money without time is just another prison. They want to create, not just consume. They want to be present with the people who matter most to them, right? They want their impact to outlast their exhaustion, and they want peace, not just progress. And the two that I've heard the most, right? The two reasons is one, they want to build a better, less stressful life for themselves, right? That's the first reason, right? The second reason is they want to build generational wealth for their family. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if that's you. If you want to build generational wealth for you and your family, drop a fire emoji in the chat right now, right? I want to get an idea of who I'm talking to, right? Because if you want to build generational wealth for you and your family, you have to have systems in place, no matter what. So the systems and frameworks that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, you have to implement them, guys, right? Now, a lot of people ask me why I'm giving this game and I'm dropping these gems. And to be honest, there are a few reasons. So I'll share them with you, right? I've already shared a few, but I'm going to continue to share them with you. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you have a 9-to-5, run a business, or don't have a business, because if you do, then I know this opportunity will change everything for you. And if you don't, then you don't have any bad habits and you're a clean slate for us to be able to build on here today. I'm hosting these masterclasses because we were never taught how to build a business or become an entrepreneur, right? We were never taught that. We were never taught, how to build a business and become an entrepreneur and manage people and lead people, right? Like, just think about it. Just give it some thought, right? Now, let's be honest, guys, with the advent of AI and all of these layoffs, right? It's not looking good, right? Amazon, Meta, Google, they laid off a ton of people, and no one with the job is safe right now. If you don't know where your next job is, or know how to start a business, if you don't know entrepreneurship, if you don't know how to invest in yourself, or even have time management, or how to use AI to use and have time management, the future is not looking bright for you. I'm just being honest. If the biggest companies are laying off employees, what do we think is going to happen to the smaller companies? Let me know, guys. What do you think is going to happen to the smaller mom and pop shops who are being laid off? Like, think about it. If these massive tech giants are laying people off, what do you think is going to happen to the mom and pop shops, right? And that's why I'm hosting these master classes. The second reason is that everyone is teaching you to do this and to do that, and most of it's fluff, right? It's full of people that are not doing what they say that they do, and then taking advantage of good people like yourself, right? And no one's showing you the person you have to become to do the things to become that person that you need to be to scale your business. Think about that. And I just felt like I needed to do this because I'm someone that actually does what I'm teaching you here today on a day-to-day basis. And I got tired of seeing good people like yourself get taken advantage of. And I see gurus all the time on, how to get rich this and money that, but no one talks about who you have to become to maintain that new person. Does that sound fair? Put a yes in the chat for me if that sounds fair, guys. Put a yes in the chat to me if that sounds fair. Love it. Okay. The other reason why is that my social media has been growing pretty rapidly. And because I have over 99 plus DM requests, guys. And so I decided to bring my teachings to the masses, to where I'm talking to a group of people at once, because I physically cannot respond to every single person. Does that make sense? I don't care if you have a business or you don't, or if you're an entrepreneur, or if you work a 9-to-5. My goal is to be able to share this information with you, and give you all the game and share it with you all the game, right? And that's what I intend to do here today. Now, the next reason is I want you to be able to date me before you marry me, guys. I want you to be able to date me before you marry me. My mentor always says that if someone can't teach you anything for free, you shouldn't pay them for anything at all. And I want to be able to, show you how my free education is and how I teach before you choose to make an investment in us. And then when you make a smaller investment in us, you could be someone that we partner with in the future. Does that make sense? Okay. This is the same information that I share with graduating students at Mercer University, guys. This is the same information that I'm sharing with the graduates at Mercer University. I was also able to share this with the alumni and the staff. And now I'm here to show you, okay? I'm here to show you the low effort strategies that will provide you high impact in your life and in your business, and no matter what you are doing, wherever you are. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do them personally. And my number one aim is to create that confidence where there was once uncertainty, and to eliminate confusion and replace it with clarity. All right. Now, before we start, send this out to your friends, group chats, and get them on here, because don't be selfish. If you could party with your friends, you can learn with them as well, guys. Right? So I want you to share this link out to your friends, your sister, your parrot, your dog, and all of the group chats that you're in, because if you could, like I said, if you could turn up with them, let's not gatekeep. You can learn with them as well. All right. Now, I'm going to teach you the first limiting belief, which is how to reclaim your time and go from where you are to starting a business and becoming a time-rich entrepreneur to scale your business. All right. The second limiting belief is going to be how to make this work for you no matter what, even if you have a 9 to 5 or you're renting your time to someone else. And the third secret is going to be using the Time Compass AI to reclaim a minimum of 10 hours a week to start any business, okay, and work for yourself. Now, which of these secrets are you most hyped for? Drop it in the chat. Let me know which secret you're most hyped for. Let me know. Let me know. All three, okay. Number two, okay. Okay, okay. Number two, number one. I'm getting a lot of number twos. Now, let's get right into it. So when I started, I started. My mom came here when she was 21 years young. All right. Had me 4 years later. And I remember, when I started, right, like this is really my why, right? My mom was always overworked, and she worked her butt off. She had my brother, sister, and I, but never seemed to have any time to invest in us, because she was always trying to support us. She was always doing her best to support us. And because I'm the firstborn amongst my siblings and cousins, I knew that I would have to be the one to take care of the rest of my family in the next generation. So that's my brother, Ibrahim, and I over to the left. In the middle, those are the queens of my family. And that's my sister, Immaculate Gabrielle. Love her very much. And, those are my why, right? And when I first got started, this is when I first started my first LLC in 2016. This is the papers from the, Wyoming registered agents. And, I quickly joined a tech marketing firm at 21 years old. And I took what I learned and built a team around my entertainment company. Remember when I told you in the beginning, I had an entertainment company? Well, that started in 2016, right before I turned 20 years old. And, I started to study business as much as I could. And I got around industry leaders to learn the game, to be able to play the game, y'all, to be able to play the game. And that's really what I'm here to teach you guys, right? And that's what I'm here to share with you guys. I'm sure I'm super, super excited with you guys. Now, when I first got started, things started to progress pretty quickly. Okay. And to be honest, I was blessed with the opportunity to manage one of my first mentors before he came my mentor in independent music. His name was Messinian. You guys can look him up, right? He was one of my first mentors, right? And 10 years ago, he was doing 1 million views on YouTube. Think about that. That was 10 years ago. 9 years ago, he was doing 3.5 million views on YouTube. 14 years ago, he was doing 4 million views on YouTube. Okay, hold on. Let me know if you guys if my connection is good, y'all. I'm getting some feedback that that I may not have the best connection here. Drop a 1 in the chat if my internet connection is good. Let me see here. Let me see. Drop a 1 in the chat if my internet connection is good. I'm hearing that it's not. Let me see. Let me see, guys. Drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat. Okay, got it. Let me make sure that this is good before we continue. I want to make sure that my connection is good for you. I don't want y'all to have like mid. Let me see if I could pause. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pause it real quick. Check, check, mic check. Check, check, mic check, check, check. Let me know how the. Okay, so I think I'm gonna close this. All right, y'all. We are back. We are back live and direct. Let me know. Let me know how we looking. How we looking. Oh shoot. All right, all right, all right. We are back live at it again, guys. All right, perfect. So when I first got started, like I said, I was simply a student to the game, keeping my head low and getting in the right rooms. All right. Now, and that's one of the things that helped me get ahead. And so I knew I was competing with other entertainment companies who had way bigger budgets than I did at the time, earning way more than I could at the time because they had one thing, they had better systems, right? But you know what? I started creating and branding and bringing people together, right? This was one of my first sold out shows when I was able to really scale and just get to the next level, right? Now, let me see. Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure everything was good. All right. Now I started scaling to the first year I made 100K, guys, right? Those quickly turned those local events that I was doing, those local shows, they quickly turned into countrywide tours. This was 2017 on the left, and then on the right is 2018 when I started doing countrywide tours, and it was incredible. I started teaching this system, right? Building my own systems allowed me to scale, and I started to get noticed to the point where venues were asking me to come and host my shows there. Keep in mind, some of these venues were doing 100K a month, right? So I kept consistent. I kept staying consistent at it, learned everything I could, and started teaching this to new venue owners and promoters. And, that I have a system, and all that system stands for. Drop a one in the chat if you want to know what system stands for. Drop a one in the chat if you want to know what system stands for. Let me know. Drop a one in the chat if you want to know what system stands for. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, perfect. Now, system stands for saving you, right? Saving yourself time, energy, and money. That's what a system does. It allows you to save yourself time, energy, and money. And now, according to Slack, right, there's about 3 weeks lost every single year, right?
When you think about it, small business owners are losing an average of 96 minutes of productivity daily, which amounts to 3 years every 3 weeks every single year. Now imagine you're just not doing anything for 3 weeks every single year. Imagine that. Now, many businesses are losing time through manual data entry and disorganized information systems. Employees spending up to 20 hours a week on repetitive and scattered tasks. So, what do you think that does? Right? These hidden inefficiencies drain resources and limit growth potential. Meanwhile, global entrepreneurship is expanding rapidly. By 2030, the entrepreneurship market is projected to reach 5.5 trillion, which is a massive opportunity and an urgent need for streamlined systems to reclaim time and scale efficiently. With this information, when do you think the right time is to become an entrepreneur? When do you think is the right time to become an entrepreneur and to become time rich is? Think about it, right? Drop it in the chat if you know. Drop it in the chat if you know. When do you think that time is? Let me make sure, guys, that my... Okay, looks like we're coming in pretty good here. Okay, exactly. Right now, right now. Now, right now is the best time to get started. We know in the past there's never been a time where there's been more AI jobs than people working them. And in the future, there's going to be more AI and robots doing jobs than there are employees. There has always been more employees than jobs, though. But jobs are slowly becoming a thing of the past, and that's why you're here. And you're tired of allowing Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Christmas to go by and all these other different sales days and seeing all these other people producing money while you're going and consuming and spending all of your hard-earned money that you paid your time for, right? So you're here because you want to be a producer in your life and the rest of this year and the rest of your life rather than a consumer. Okay. And that's what we're here to discuss. Now let's get to the gems. Okay. Let's get to the gems. How to reclaim your time and go from where you are to starting a business and becoming a time rich entrepreneur. Now you have to find someone successful to model, right? And you have to, first and foremost, you have to do me a favor. If I show you this, if I show you my secrets, right, you have to promise to not use your new powers for evil. Before I show you my magical powers, put a yes in the chat, right? If you agree not to use these new powers for evil. I need to see yeses in the chat. Let me get a yes in the chat. Okay? Yes, exactly. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Now, have you ever asked yourself how people like Oprah, Jay-Z, Jeff Bezos have the same 24 hours in a day, but they seem to accomplish way more? Well, what if I told you that you and these three people, these three individuals have a lot more in common than you previously thought before, right? You have to audit your time and leverage your time successfully, right? Are you used to-do lists that never get done? And what if I told you you have all the time in the world, right? What would your life look like? Think about it, right? You really literally have all the time in the world. Now, this is one of the most impactful things right here. I need you to remember this formula. This is the one that saved my life. If you haven't learned anything here today, I need you to remember this formula. This is called the time rich formula, okay? T times DOTW equals AA. Well, what does that mean? Well, thanks for asking. I will let you guys know right now. What does that mean, Denver? Again, thank you for asking. I'll let you know right now. T is the time that it takes to do said activity multiplied by days of the week, DOTW. This equates to your activity average, which is the amount of time said activity takes to do. So think about it. For example, 8 hours a day times 5 days a week equals a 40-hour work week, right? Think about that. That's the same time that most people are working right now. They work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That equals 40 hours a week. Now, you also have to find activity, what activities are taking up most of your time, guys. Think about that. What activities are really taking up most of your time, right? And that's the problem. Most of us don't know. We don't know. And that is a massive issue when you don't know where your time is going, because most people are doom scrolling for what, you might call 5 minutes, and it ends up being 1 to 3 hours, right, of your life gone and to be forgotten. How many of you find yourself spending countless hours procrastinating and selling yourself short? Right. And I'm here to help you overcome those very hurtful thoughts and those very hurtful truths. Now, Let your direction and framework do the heavy lifting for you. This is the north side of the time compass, and it's called MT1, or mandatory time. Mandatory time is the difference between people who sustainably achieve their goals and people who burn out trying. This is where the activities that are more than an hour that also are mandatory every single day, like sleep, work, eating, parenthood, entrepreneurship, nurses, police officers, firefighters, civil workers. This is where that time goes. Once you calculate this, everything else becomes easier. I promise you. This is the same formula and techniques that I use every single day. Now, once you figure out what tasks are mandatory in your life, we can know where the rest of your time is being spent so we can reinvest it. Figure out what tasks and what direction are going in that way. And if you're spending them on miscellaneous tasks, mystery tasks, or growth tasks, how much time is it costing you to not have a direction for your time? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever put that into context? How much time is it costing you? Right? Because when you don't know, that's the issue right there. Now you know the amount of time that you need to grow, right? Let's talk about a part-time job. That's only about 20 to 25 hours a week, right? Are your dreams worth a part-time hour? Are they worth part-time hours? Because if they're not, do you really want to achieve them? Especially now that you have a framework to do so. Do you really want to achieve your goals and your dreams, right? Think about that. My total investment to learn and execute all of this information was a grand total of $0.00, y'all. But it did cost me a massive amount of time, right? Shout out to my guy Zero from Holes. And this is one of my students who used these first couple of steps to claim 500 hours of their life. And I'm going to share with you how to literally use these techniques to start any business, and more importantly, reclaim at least 10 hours of your life every single week. So make sure you stay tapped in for secret number 2. Put number 2 in the chat if you are ready. Put number 2 in the chat if you're ready to get to the second secret, okay? Now, most people, employees, and even entrepreneurs think they have to do it the hard way, aka what most people believe is the only way. Well, they think that there's a few ways, and I want to break this down to you, right? They think that they have to do the hustle harder approach, right? Which has an upfront cost of burnout, stress, and 5 to 10 years of your life gone. The time frame is every single day, nonstop grind, and most people think the only way to get ahead is to work harder, wake up earlier, sleep less, and squeeze more into the same 24 hours. But the truth is, you don't need to hustle harder. You need to design smarter, okay? Second is the do-it-yourself approach. It's the do-it-yourself trap, really. And this has an upfront cost of 60 to 80 hours a week of busyness, and you end up being busy doing nothing. And it's an indefinite time frame until you burn out or break down. And that's the issue. Most people believe freedom means doing everything on their own, managing every task, every project, and even every crisis personally. But real freedom isn't in control. It's in delegation, automation, and trust. And then the third one, right? The third one is wait for the right time myth, which has an upfront cost of years of missed opportunities, and its time frame is someday. That never actually comes. Most people say they'll start their business, write that book, or take a trip when things slow down, but things never slow down. What are some of your biggest goals in the next 3 to 6 months, guys? Think about it. What are some of your biggest goals, right? In the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, I'm seeing some of you say travel. Okay, get to 100K in revenue. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Now, let's just imagine all that secret one did was help you reclaim 10, 14, 20, 50 hours a week. I just helped you get all that back right now, right? Just from secret one alone. Put a yes in the chat if this is making sense so far. Put a yes in the chat if this is making sense so far. Perfect. Okay. Now, before we get to secret number 2, right? I need you to take the link that you watching this on, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and share it out with 3 people that you're going to the top with. and anyone that will benefit from this type of information. Okay, that is what I need you guys to do before we get to secret number 2. Perfect, guys. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are sharing this out. Appreciate you guys. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, I see you guys. I see y'all. I see y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, perfect. Secret number 2 is the difference between having time and having the ability to be time rich, right? The 168-hour method that we just went over on how to make this work is for anyone, and it allows anyone to quit their 9 to 5 and build that business. And if you're excited, drop 2 in the chat, because the level of engagement that I get from you guys will dictate the level of information that I give. And I want you guys to keep the chat rolling. Keep the chat rolling. Keep that chat rolling. Perfect. Now, right, the difference between them is not about having more time, right? It's not about having the availability, and it's not even about having less to do or even more effort into what you're doing. And it's definitely not about having more money. It's about how you show up for yourself. Okay. Give me a yes in the chat if you agree. Now, welcome to the 1 week time compass, right? Here I'm going to give you an overview of mandatory time, miscellaneous time, growth time, and what they are and how much time they each take. Okay. Now, I'm a regular guy and I'm just like you, right? I had an idea one day and I was like, oh my God, like I had this aha moment. I got to start this business, right? I was like, I want to start a business and I want to be, in control of my income, and I want to increase my impact and my influence. And that's why I started a business. I wanted to increase my impact and my influence. Now, how many of you feel the same way, especially after hearing my story? I built and started my entertainment company, Glockwork Records, and started managing artists through inner workings management. And I thought to myself, we're going to blow this up. We've got talent, we've got energy, and we've got the vision. And I started reaching out to people right around me, entrepreneurs, promoters, videographers, friends, family, and other creatives. And I found myself obsessing over the smallest, tiniest things that really did not matter, right? Even like what the thumbnail looked like on YouTube, it really didn't matter. But then something shifted. I started getting too logical, and then I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't running out of time from all these things. I was running out of growth time. I had no compass, no ability to grow, my life, and I was being hijacked by miscellaneous tasks that looked productive but didn't move the needle. I was pouring time and energy into things that made me feel busy but not better. Remember, busy doesn't mean you are productive, right? I was honestly busy doing nothing, and that was my issue. Lo and behold, I don't know about you, but no one supported me the way that I thought I was going to be supported when I started out my entrepreneurial journey, right? Am I the only one on this island alone, or can some of you resonate with this? Put a yes in the chat if you can resonate with this. Put a yes in the chat if some of you can resonate with this, because for the longest, I just felt by myself. I felt alone, right? And instead of approaching my days, in my life one day at a time, I started to look at the amount of hours in an overall week, and an overall month, and an overall year, right? And I started teaching this to a community of people, about entrepreneurs, and they started asking me, how I was able to have so much time while I ran all these businesses, right? And the truth is pretty simple, guys. Like, I was able to really just learn how to become time rich once again. I was really able to just level up, teach what I'm learning here, teaching you guys, and scale my life. Give me 1 second here. I see a bunch of you guys pouring in. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome in. Welcome in. Climb on in. Drop what city you are from in the chat, please, and thank you. Perfect. Okay. Now, these are 2 of my students who had taken the time compass and really changed their life, right? This is Lamont, who is a full-time business owner. He's got a, landscaping company and a real estate company. And then this is another entrepreneur, Rhoda, who is a mother of 3 and has a hair business and works at the post office as well. She was able to really scale her business and reclaim 50 hours of her life every single week. Can you imagine that? Now, pro tip, okay? This is a pro tip for you guys. This is where I want to give you guys a pro tip. Now, How many seconds are in a minute? Drop a chat, but drop it in the chat if you know. How many seconds are in a minute? Okay, we've got a smart group. Now, how many hours? All right, how many minutes are in an hour? Let me know. Okay, yep, 60. Now, how many hours are in a day? Let me know. Okay, okay. Now, how many hours are in a week? Y'all still guessing? Nope, it's not 158, guys. Nope. Well, it's actually 168 hours in a week, right? When you scale up from a minute all the way to a day, right? It's actually quite a bit. There's actually quite a bit of hours in a week, and that's the beautiful thing about a week when you start thinking about it. Okay, let's see here. Perfect. Now, this is going to be Johnny Blaze's testimonial, right? This is one of my first students who I implemented my techniques. And next up, I'm going to be getting the secret number 3. Okay. She was able to really scale. I want to share this testimonial with you guys here.
Shout out to Inner Workings Management. This girl, Johnny Blaze. Make sure you book with them ASAP.
Okay. Now, who here is excited? Who here is excited for secret number 3? Drop a 3 in the chat if you are excited for secret number 3, y'all. Drop a 3 in the chat if you're excited for secret number 3. Want to see those 3s rolling in, diving in. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So secret number 3, guys, is you don't always have to do it without systems. Using AI and a time compass to reclaim 10 hours or more a week to start any business is very much so possible, right? The successful entrepreneurs, freedom seekers, and people living life on their own terms, they haven't discovered more hours in a day. They've discovered something far more powerful: how to design systems that work for them instead of against them, right? And you don't have to wait to become time rich before you start, right? The people that say, oh, I just need a little bit more time first, then I'll get organized. Guys, it doesn't work like that. That's not the way it works. You got to be able to use the systems around you. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 systems that I use every single day. So you've got the SMART method, right? The SMART method helps you make goals that actually work. Each letter in SMART stands for something important. It's an acronym. S stands for specific. Be clear about what you want. Let's say you're going to be like, oh, I'll study more. Well, that's not a SMART goal. That's not specific. But I'll study for 30 minutes after school or after work is a lot more specific, okay? M is measurable. M allows you to measure it, right? That 30 minutes that we said is a lot more measurable than a lot, right? You can count or check if it's done because you have a metric. A is going to be achievable. It's something you can do. You can't fly to the moon next week, but you can finish studying or reading that book after 30 minutes after work or school. Now, R is relevant, right? It matters to your biggest goal. Studying helps, studying helps your grades, which helps you in your future. Reading that book helps you in your future. And T is time bound. There's a deadline or a time limit when you say by Friday or in 1 week. So for example, I'll read 20 minutes every night this week before work or before bed is a lot better of a SMART goal when you think about it. Okay. Next is the Pomodoro technique, right? Think about the tomato shaped timer that your mother had in her kitchen when you were a kid, right? And here's how it works. You pick one task that you want to do. You set a timer for 25 minutes and you do that task. When the timer rings, take a 5-minute break, stretch, get water, move around. And every 4 Pomodoros, that equals about 100 minutes, you take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. It helps you focus by turning big jobs into small chunks, and you train your brain like a muscle. Focus, hard, rest, repeat. Focus, hard, rest, repeat. All right. Now we've got the third example. This is called the eat the frog technique. This is actually one of my favorite techniques because I think I heard Jeff Bezos talk about it before in the past. This idea comes from saying, if the first thing you do every morning is eat the frog, nothing worse will happen the rest of the day. And don't worry, no real frogs were harmed in the making of this entrepreneur or this movie. Your frog is the hardest or most important task on your list, the one you usually avoid. So look at your to-do list, your task for the next day. Find the one thing you're least excited to do. That's your frog. And do it first. Once it's done, the rest of the day feels lighter and easier, right? Think about that. Give that some thought, right? It's called the eat the frog technique. Now, you can literally use these 3 techniques I just taught you, put them in the chat GPT or any LLM, and have them be your guiding examples on where your time is going, right? Now, let's talk about it. Let's reclaim let's reclaim 10 hours in under 3 minutes, okay? I'm actually going to open up chat GPT right now. Or you can do this, right? Who in the chat wants to do this right now? Who in the chat wants to be able to do this right now? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you want to be able to do this right now and reclaim 10 hours in under 3 minutes. Let me know. Because I want to be able to break this down for you if this is really what you're thinking. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't see many of you guys doing that, so I'm not going to break it down right now. But I want to share with you Annie's testimonial, okay? She was able to join my accelerator class, my accelerator course, and the same strategies that I use to scale my business from 0 to 650, she was to 650, not yet, to 6 figures she was able to do. And I'm so proud of her, right? And now, so far, you've learned how to approach your gap, right? How to reclaim your time and become time rich for free, how to make the best use of your 168 hours, and how to use systems and frameworks to reclaim your most valuable asset, your time, okay? Now, how many of you feel like, yo, Denver, man, you just let out a hose of information on all of us, right? Put a yes in the chat if you feel like that. Put a yes in the chat if you feel like that. Okay. Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Now, you have 2 choices. You can go away the 3 strategies under your belt and implement them into your business, your own. And, you could do that. But I know when I first started, it took me about 10 years to figure this stuff out, right? And maybe it won't take you 10 years. It might take you 7. But how many of you here understand that it also took me pain, blood, sweat, tears, loneliness, sleepless nights, quite literally, to get to where I'm at right now, right? And like I said, it might not take you 7 years, but how many of you would like to take what I just taught you and crunch it down from 10 years to 3 to 6 months? Give me a yes in the chat if you believe that I delivered on my bold promise of teaching you to become time rich, how to quit your 9 to 5 and build a 7-figure business that lasts. Give me a yes in the chat if you agree. Okay, perfect. Give me a yes in the chat if you feel like you got closer to your goal rather than further from your goal just by being here today. Just by being here today. Okay. Now, give me a yes in the chat if I have your permission to share with you what I was talking about in the beginning of this masterclass, right? Because I know this is the best thing for you right now to become successful, because here's the God's honest truth. I could close my laptop and go lay down. I kind of want to give my mother a call. That's the responsibility that I got to get to today, and I can do that, right? But, let me know if you guys are open to me, if I have your permission to share this with you. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, y'all are dropping in the chat. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I love it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect. Okay. And like we said, these are just the foundational strategies. It's going to take me a lot longer than an hour or hour and a half to share with you and teach you how to reclaim more than 50 hours in your week. Now, unlike most entrepreneurs, I've done this for large companies, teams, and professionals. This is actually Jacob, where, I was able to teach him how to grow and scale his company and his business to $150,000 over 6 months. Can you imagine that? What would your life look like, right? And I can show you the exact blueprint that I've used for my clients and my current business. And more importantly, I want to, okay? I want to be able to teach and educate on this because it actually works. Because I have a real estate business, I want you to be able to make a decision from the inside, okay? Now, who wants to get an exclusive sneak peek into the Time Shifters community, the Time Shifters Academy, and before they join. Who wants to get an exclusive sneak peek? Drop a yes in the chat if you want to get an exclusive sneak peek. Okay. Drum roll, please. Let me get that drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Y'all are really tapping in, y'all. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Now, I would like to present to you the Time Shifters Academy. Inside this community, you'll learn how to become time rich, quit your 9-to-5, and build a 7-figure business that lasts. And all how I documented and did it from top to bottom, everything that I do, right? This is the last time management community you'll ever need in your entire life. Now, inside this community, you'll get the Time Compass Framework course where I break everything down and how I use the AI in my Time Compass system to scale to become time rich. Then you'll be able to get access to the Time Shifters exclusive. This is where I teach you how to go from being time poor to time rich using the exact steps, tools, and strategies outlined in this masterclass. And it'll be everything you need, again, top to bottom. And I just want to share with you guys, because I like to be transparent, right? Just for that piece alone, okay? Just for the community itself, we sell that portion alone for $1,000. And these are multiple screenshots of our students paying us $1,000 just to be a part of the community. And like I said, I like transparency. I don't like to gatekeep things. I like to be fully transparent with you guys, okay? No fluff. I don't want you guys to think that this is fluff or anything like that, all right? And that's valued at $5,000, $5,555, right? And I don't want you to think that this is just some course, right? Because you're not going to be in here learning alone. And because you're not going to be in here learning alone, you get access to our weekly Time Shifters experts in our calls. We actually have Zoom calls where you're able to come off mute, ask questions, any burning desire that you have, you're able to come off these weekly calls and, you know, ask your question to the community, right? And that's what I love about this, right? We really lean on each other. This is what our weekly calls look like, right? And that's me right there with the rest of the community. It's a group setting and you'll be able to come off mute, right? And these are just some more of our calls and what they look like, and you know what you'll be getting and how we scale and teach you. Now, this is just those two things alone are a value of $7,777, right? Because the Time Shifters proven framework and course is $5,500, and the Time Shifters experts are valued at $2,222. That's a total grand value of $7,777, y'all. Now, next you get access to our Time Shifters toolkit, okay? This toolkit is everything that I've used over the past 10 years of my journey as an entrepreneur, and it's updated every single quarter. And I'm excited to share that with you guys, right? This is what it looks like here. We'll give you guys a brief overview of what's inside of it. You know, this toolkit is curated as an evergreen resource for you to be able to start from anywhere and what stage you are in your entrepreneurial journey, okay? And it's updated quarterly, no matter what, right? And that's the beauty of it. This is what we share with our students, and I want to share this with you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for the love. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, that is valued at $2,222. And on top of that, right, for just being a part of the community, we allow you to have our Timekeepers Journal, right? This is your personal 12-week roadmap to understand the time-rich categories, and a tool that allows you to see your habits, routines, distractions, and shape your life 1 hour at a time. When you track your time with intention, you stop living by the calendar and by the clock and start living by your compass, okay? Now, you also get a time assessment, right? And this is what has allowed me to take businesses from negative $17,000 in cash flow to a positive $102,000 in cash flow in over 6 months. I want to give you guys an example, okay? This is an example of one of my clients, okay, who went from, and I kind of want to zoom in for this with you guys, okay? They went from making negative $17,000 in their business, okay, in 10 weeks, or excuse me, 6 weeks, right? They were able to grow, you know, just about 10%. They went from negative 17,000 to negative 15,000. Okay. Next, they were able to go from that negative number of 15,000. Can you imagine being $15,000 in debt, y'all? Right? They went from that number to, let me see with you guys here. Let me just share this with y'all. Perfect. They were able to go from that to in 10 weeks, okay, up 465%. They went from that number to $58,000 in revenue, y'all. Imagine being negative $17,000 in debt, and then within 10 weeks, you shoot up to $58,000, right? And then using the various systems, they went up to $65,000 by implementing the very strategies that we are talking about here today. Can you imagine that? They went to a $65,000 in cash flow. By the end of that, right, that was a net positive growth of $120,000, right? They leveled out right about 13% growth. That's $120,000, right? And just that value alone, using the timekeeper's journal, that's a value of $1,112, right? With a grand total of $11,111, guys. That is the grand total for this, okay? And I'm sharing this with you guys because when you think about it, right, the idea here is not about, oh, you know, implementing more systems and, you know, doing more stuff. It's more so about being able to get to the next level in your life and in your business, okay? Now, usually this would be about $5,500, okay? But I've got good news, great news, and I have bad news. Remember at the beginning of this masterclass, right? I said the offer would be around $5,000. The good news is actually, well, someone put good news in the chat. 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 Love it. Okay. The good news is that it's not going to be $5,000. The good news is that it's not even going to be $4,000. The good news is that my mentor always taught me that you have to reward people that take fast action. Okay. And our fast action price today is $26.26, right? Not 11K, not 5K, not 4K. It's literally an average savings of $3,000, $3,333, right? Keep in mind that I told you we also have great news and bad news. So the great news is that my mentor told me that success loves speed and fortune favors the fast. So it's put on my heart to reward fast action. He also told me that you have to make your offers irresistible. Okay. Now we've got a masterclass special for this class that's going to be $25.25 for you guys here today. Okay. This is the masterclass special. And the great news is that, you know, somebody put great news in the chat. Somebody put great news in the chat real quick. Hold on. Somebody put great news in the chat, okay? Now, because the level of value that we're giving here, especially including those time assessments that I went over, we have a small team to where we cannot take on hundreds and hundreds of people at a time because we're doing custom audits and things of that nature for people, right? This is going to be only for the next 5 people that get started, okay? This fast action price at $25.25, right? This is only going to be for the next 5 people that get started. Right. And I want you guys to be mindful of this, that we can only take on a small amount of you at a time. All right. Now, the next 5 people that get started and jump in with the Time Rich Masterclass, right, with this mentorship, I'm going to be giving a private strategy session and access to the Time Rich beta app. Excuse me. Okay. You're going to get access to the Time Rich beta app. And I'm going to be dropping the link in the chat, right, in 5, 4, 4.5, right? 3, 2, 1. Now you guys have access to the link in the chat. Okay. You guys get access to this, and it gives you full year access, guys. Full year access. That's the beauty of this mentorship. You get full year access. Let's see. Love that. Love that. Okay. You guys are tapping in. I love that. Yeah, y'all are really, really tapping in. Thank you guys for supporting, right? Thank you guys so much. Y'all are really tapping in right now. What's up, Ray? Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope all is well. This is great. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. Open the treasure box. I guess I'm figuring out how to open this treasure box. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Now, if this doesn't work for you guys, listen, you guys have access to our 30-day money back guarantee. I just want to let you guys know, you guys have access to our 30-day money back guarantee. Why is... Okay, so I guess we'll use a different link then. I don't know why that's acting like that, but okay. Okay, perfect. Why is the link that approved, guys? Well, the link has been put in the chat. Let me know if you guys would like me to give it to you directly. Okay, perfect. The payment link has been posted, guys, so feel free to check that out. But if you take action today, you don't feel like you got your money's worth, we will refund you in full. All that we require, right, is that you do 2 things, right? All that we require is that you complete the course, okay? You implement the info, right? And you share with an accountability partner. That's all that we ask, right? That's all that we ask here today, is that we make sure you share that with an accountability partner, you implement the info, and you complete the course. Now, for those of you that are tapped in, the great thing is tonight, the masterclass is 25 for the next 3 people. Looks like we got 2 people that joined. Congratulations. Okay. Now, if you need flexible payment options, right? You know, some of you are, need those, and that's cool, right? Because fortunately, a lot of you are going to be able to jump in tonight without any money out of your own pocket tonight. That's the beautiful thing about this. You're going to be able to tap in with no money out of your own pocket, because we've been able to partner with a company called Fanbases, to where they do literally all the financing for our students' education to get into our community, because they know the type of work and the results that we're getting our students and the impact that we're having on the community. So the first thing is that it's not even a hard pull on your credit. It's a soft pull on your credit to see if you even get approved. Okay. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you are feeling what I am saying right now. Dope. Dope. I love to see it, y'all. I love to see it. Perfect. So this is going to be that gift that I told you guys about in the beginning. This gift is valued at over $500. When you apply, you'll be able to use that towards getting this investment, towards making this investment towards yourself, right? Let's see here. I love that. Y'all are tapping in. Dope. Y'all are really tapping in. Thank you guys so much. I'm just watching everything come through. Thank you for all the gifts, y'all. Okay, I love to see it. Now, what if you're like, how many people here are like, yo, Denver, what if I'm not an entrepreneur, or, I don't have a business? What does this all have to do with me? Well, This works with everyone. It's not just for employees, it's for anyone that has issues with time management, but all parents, right? Entrepreneurs, civil workers, right? It works for everyone. Let me just take some notes here. Okay. It works for anyone who has no experience. It works for everyone that can give attention to intention. And what if the real question is, what if all this did? Think about it. What's one system worth to you, right? A really successful system. I actually want to share a testimonial with you guys from one of my students who was really able to.
My name is Jonathan Chapman, owner of a commercial cleaning company. Doing it for about 6-7 years now. Currently transitioning into wealth management full time. That's what I want to be. But I'm really here for it. Give a big shout out and testimony. He shared with me that he worked this out, put this time compass, did his thing, did his magic, and it just showed me a huge awareness, a wake up call as far as the kind of time that I actually had to get more stuff done. And when I thought I was actually working hard, it hurt. Because it was like, like, okay, Dan, you call yourself busy, you don't like lazy people, but these are some lazy numbers. And so it was exciting at the same, but overall it was exciting and it was a breakthrough. So ever since then, the awareness alone, I would recommend people just get the product because that alone, if you just get with that and don't do nothing else, it's going to help you just get your time and do things better. And so I would much to say, like, definitely worth your time, literally. They appreciate you, Denver, allowing putting that time to parent. That was another one. Being a parent, so it's a way for, it's not just for business owners, entrepreneurs, but also as a parent. Like, it just shows you where you really could do better out here on this planet. So, once again, my name is Jonathan. Appreciate you, Denver, and you allowing me to see your product and share it with me to help me to become a better person.
Now, again, just being transparent with you, that's why people are willing to send us, $1,000, $1,500, $3,500, $17,000, like, because this would even be an amazing deal at $10,000. That's the God's honest truth, right? And, to be the best, you got to have a coach, right? Put in the chat what all these people have in common. Put in the chat what all these people have in common, right? They all had a coach. Exactly. And so, I'm excited. I'm happy to have shared with you guys today. I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A, but I appreciate you guys for tapping in with me. It has been a pleasure sharing this with you guys. Feel free to message me if you have any questions whatsoever. I'm excited to, share with you any questions or any answers that I have to your questions. And, because it's not a matter of if you're going to need a mentor, it's just a matter of when, right? And this is only going to be, here for the next 2 people. I had about 4 people, 3 people join. Welcome to the winning side, guys. Appreciate y'all. Welcome. This is awesome, guys. And so if you want to tap in with me, feel free to follow me on Instagram and YouTube, everywhere. That is my link right there. Okay. That is my link right there, y'all. Feel free to tap in with me. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. Any questions in the chat, y'all? Any questions in the chat? Any questions in the chat? All right, y'all. If no one's got any questions, I will catch you guys on the other side, okay? Much love to you, and I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. I'll catch you on the other side. Peace. sometimes, so we're gonna transition this now. Here we go. But isn't it a little bit comforting to know that I do it live and it sometimes fuck up?
This is one of the best.
And I don't care what these girls tell y'all.
And all we can do is defend.
I think it's about
All I can do is defend. Something over here I can get? Nope. Defend the A point. Our objective is B. It's gonna sit right here. Muscle car. You know, my favorite American muscle is a 1970 Monte Carlo. Everyone else wants to talk about Chevelles, Mustangs, Chargers. Nah, man. Put up pinche Monte Carlo way. It's classy and muscular at the same time. It's a gentleman's muscle car. This is shit. Sorry, buddy. It's all in my mind. It's all in the mind.
Okay, what's your major?
I'm a nuclear engineer.
Oh,
That's how they roll here.
so what does that mean? You're gonna
Get to the bottom of it.
yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, you're gonna help us for USA. We appreciate you, bro. I think we're gonna need you. Okay, let's do that.
It's all in my mind. It's all in the mind.
Okay, what's your major?
I'm a nuclear engineer.
Oh,
That's how they roll here.
so what is that?
Tis the season for holiday gifting. Uber Eats is delivering an extra $30 off Best Buy's biggest holiday deals. Save
Stop trading time for money. The rich don't work hours.
Why did you move out the country? Why did you move out the country, gang?
I'm financially free. Ain't that what we all strive to be? Ain't that what we all want is to be financially free? I don't have to